Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about American history with two of my very, very good friends. First, David Barton.
Hey, bro.
Dr. Peter Lilback. How are you? Great. Notice he got up. Washington would have gotten up.
But I'm your good friend, so I can just...
Peter's my better friend. How's that?
That works.
Yeah.
Zing. Zing.
Peter is the head of the Providence Foundation, Providence Forum in Philadelphia, and David is the head of Wall Builders here in good old Texas. We have a bunch of stuff. This is like show and tell for geeks. Have you guys been let in on what we're doing today? Yeah. Did they tell you what we have too, what you're going to see today? Okay, good. Because they wrecked all my secrets for David Barton. I found out right before we went on the air. I think you know some of the things. I had one thing really special that was meaningful to share with you, and now my producers wrecked it. Peter, you'll like it. Wasn't for you anyway, David.
Well, I'm glad to be surprised, okay?
Yeah. Peter wrote the book Sacred Fire.
It's good for exercise.
It is the heaviest book ever. This is the best book I've ever read on George Washington because there's no opinion really in it. It's all based on his words. Yeah. And Peter wrote it because you were sick and tired, right?
Yeah, I was told that I didn't know anything about the founding, and so I spent 20 years to figure out if I was right when I said Washington was a Christian. Right. After 20 years, I'm absolutely convinced that's what Washington said he was, in his own words.
He was, I mean, what we have to do is restore our honor, our courage, and love. And when we do, and we base those things on our principles and our values and our God, we're rock solid again. You know, it is our values that we get from our faith that give us all three of those things, at least gave those three things to George Washington. Okay, so what we have for you is a very strange look at history because these guys are all happy. I, however, am the one who put the skull on the table. And that is, by the way, I just had this made only just because it'll drive the left nuts because I just wanted to put this on the set because they'll all say, "What does he have a skull on his desk for?" It's easy. Brain candy, anybody? Some brain candy? Yeah, brain candy. No, it's good. Not really. Brain candy, sure. Yeah, it's good. You're good? All right, good. Brain candy? No? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it's good. Okay, she took the last one. Okay, so. I have some things that are rather dark. You guys actually have some happy things. But I believe that if we're really going to understand who we are, you can't just have the chair, and I can't tell you just the happy parts of my grandfather. I have to also tell you about my other grandfather, who was a very, very dark man, and the alcoholism that was in our family. Then you understand the whole picture of where I came from. Right. So you have to have the good of history and the bad. That's right. And when you put them together, then you understand it. So let's start with you, David Barton. You go, you take one, you get one, and then Peter, you get one, and then I get one.
So get one. Well, all right, I'm going to take your chair, because your chair is your connection to your grandfather.
Got it.
And so what happened was in previous generations, they would take their kids and try to pass on to their kids something physical to make a connection with them, because you didn't have photographs and didn't have, you know, the memory stuff. So what George Washington did, as he is literally dying at Mount Vernon, was his son, adopted son, Alexander Hamilton, really close to him. He took and cut some of his own hair and passed that on to Alexander Hamilton. So what you have here is George Washington's lock of hair as he was dying at Mount Vernon. And the Hamilton family had that, and this is written by the next generation Hamiltons said, hey, here's how we got this, here's where it came from. Wow. And as they have kids, they divide Washington's hair, so one side of the family gets part. This is the rest of that lock of hair. And they literally took and wove it into a ring. I've never seen anything like this. But in previous generations, you would keep a locket with someone's hair in it.
Wild. Wait, in this, if you grab on camera 4, so his hair is not white.
No. No, this is later in life, because as he got later in life, he had that, it was not white hair, it was kind of a sandy colored hair.
So wait a minute. So did he wore a wig?
Rarely. He did not wear a wig often. A lot
wait,
of the founders,
where's the statue, big statue of Washington? It's over there. So is that his normal hair? Or is that's a wig?
No, that's normal.
That's normal.
That's normal.
And it was this color?
It was off. It was kind of a sandy color as he was growing up, and so it got dark sandy as he was getting older. His last painting, 92, when Williams painted him 7 years before he died, his hair is kind of an off-white, sandy kind of, I don't know.
Kind of like my luxurious hair.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
a little darker than yours.
So,
It's darker.
yeah. So what happened? I mean, what do you do with a hair ring?
You remember. You see it and you remember. You see
So nobody wore that. It was like, oh, geez, I got something in my hair ring.
No, they would. Just like they would keep a locket with Grandma's hair in it for generations.
You'd wear the
down.
hair ring?
Mm-hmm. You'd wear them.
Really?
You'd wear that, and it is. I mean, it's like a Super Bowl ring. You know, it's a really significant thing because that's George Washington's connection to the
No,
father
that's
of the
really,
country.
you know, it's cool that it's George Washington's. But Peter, do you wear the hair ring?
I would if he gave it to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, you'd feel bad. You know, it'd be like, oh, I'm going to see Washington again. I better put the hair ring on. All right, Peter.
All right. I don't have the treasure trove that David has.
I know,
but
David always comes with more than everybody else.
Okay, but
Show off.
But I have something that's really unique, and it's very, very historic. It just looks like a piece of wood, but this is a piece of the last standing Liberty tree. In other words, in Annapolis, Maryland, there was an 800-year-old tree that came down in Hurricane Floyd, but it was the tree. It was probably 500 or 600 years old.
Wow. When
our Sons of Liberty in Maryland read the Declaration of Independence. It was a gigantic tree. And you know, when it came down, they threw it in a landfill. This is true. A young man mortgaged his house to rescue it, and he almost went bankrupt, and then the Providence Forum got involved to help rescue.
Wow.
Taylor Guitar has made 400 guitars out of this that sold for about $10,000 each. They're all sold.
Wow.
And we rescued the rest of the wood. There's a beautiful eagle we've carved that's in the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. We made Bible boxes and given them to people.
Didn't his chair, wasn't Washington's chair made out of one of these, the one with the setting sun, the sunrise, the setting sun or rising sun?
I'm not sure what wood it was made out of, but on the top, when you go to Independence Hall, you'll see that chair that's the original one, and at the top it has the rising sun. The Benjamin Franklin sun.
Right.
I now know it's a rising and not a setting sun. But at the top, it has a Liberty pole and cap, which almost nobody ever notices. And when in the big cities where you didn't have a big ancient tree, our founding fathers, the Sons of Liberty, put up a big pole, and they called it the Liberty pole. And it was a cap, and it goes back to the time of Rome when I think it was General Suetonius, who was invading, said, as he took a cap from a slave, put it on his battle lance, raised it up and said, anybody that stands under this pole and cap will be free. And it began to be an image of freedom. In fact, our early coins in America have a liberty pole on them. Some of them have liberty trees. And so the other thing I want to say is that what's amazing is that this is a tulip poplar tree, and this dark chocolate wood deceives the best woodworkers. They can't tell what it is, because we don't have 800-year-old trees anymore. Yeah. When a tulip poplar was one of the ancient canopy trees of Maryland, this one came from, over time it got chocolate brown. And so this is a treasure. It's here that independence was read, and secondly, it's also in Annapolis where George Washington said his farewell to Annapolis. This was the tree that was presiding over the Congress when they were going from city to city, when he gave back his commission.
No, we don't have 800-year-old trees because of global warming, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I just want you to know, as a small gift, I want to give you a preserved piece of Liberty Tree wood as a way of thanking you for your great encouragement to help us to love George Washington.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Thank
Okay.
you. What's under this towel is extraordinarily evil. I think we will wait. I've got one for you. This is, ready? This is from the First World War, where people went door to door after the First World War and said, "Sir, you look like you were in the war." "Well, yes, I was." "How can you tell?" "Well, because it looks like you might need a new eye." This is a collection. This is a collection of eyes are people who lost their eyes in World War I. And they're fantastic. They look very, very real. But you put it up to your eye and go, that's not quite